when I finished my training here in my master's, I started to look for organizations here that would recognize that with what's happening with the Naira, right now is 900 and something to a pound, it's still possible. This skills, Nigerian educational system has learning gaps. These skills can still be passed across. There are teachers that want to learn. Is it possible for you to make things available online at a cheaper rate than what you have here? I tell you, I didn't have much success. And one person felt very sorry for me because I did and said, there's a lady that's like you. Her name is Kim. She's an international teacher, and, she's the lead for the International Teacher Education Program in UCL, or the Institute of Education. Kim is going to correct me. I still haven't gotten that right. And she has a project that is like yours. She's really passionate about international teachers having access to the education that people have here in the UK. And I was like, wow, please let me meet her. Now, I'm staying in Coventry and she's staying in London. I went to visit her and it was an amazing time. And I want to get out of the way, Kim. I know that if, as you're listening, you've already and I love feedback on the things I didn't say right. Kim is a wonderful presenter. She's much better than I am. I'm just a Nigerian school owner, being in education, that just wants to reform Nigerian education alongside my husband and make quality resources available for teachers who want to upgrade their knowledge, build the Nigerian educational system more accurately. We thank God for what we have, but it can be better and we can be globally relevant. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I stop my sharing now. Over to you, Kim. It's your time.
Thank you, Teju. The passion coming out of you, if all Nigerian teachers have the same passion, Nigeria will be okay. What we've got to do, though, is get people to realize that passion. And I think that is something that you and I share. I want to start by just saying a little bit about my learning from working in international teacher education. I started off as being a teacher in a primary school in London, and then I moved into higher education and doing PGCEs and that sort of thing. And then in the last 15 years, I've been doing a great deal with international teacher education, and particularly working in places like India, Pakistan, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, China, all those sorts of places, going out to those places and helping teachers. Now, one of the important things I learned very early on was that how we do it in the UK is not necessarily right for those places we're going to. And that's why in my work, I have always gone out to places and visited schools, seen what is happening, because actually the teachers in those countries are the experts in their classrooms, in their schools, not me. I know a great deal about the information, the research. I know how to apply those sorts of things, but I am not an expert in a school in Nigeria. All the teachers are. And my vision of teaching starts with the learners. And if Nigerian teachers want to be learners, we start with where you are in your classroom, what you already know, the strengths you know, because there are things I don't know. So the first thing I want to say is, for too many years, particularly the UK, but other countries as well, developed countries, I suppose, have gone out and told everyone how to do it. Globalization is part of that, but it started much earlier, colonization. That's what we were doing. We were colonials. We went out and said, we know best. You don't know, we'll tell you how to do it. That is not how we lead our programs. We don't allow that. And that can be very disconcerting for our students, because we say, it's up to you. You know best in your classroom. And that is a real challenge sometimes for our students. What I know from my research in international teacher education is that excellent teachers are empowered to solve their own problems. They don't know it all. They are empowered to solve their own problems. So that if they need to teach something, they work out for themselves, how am I going to teach it? Yes, there's a lot written down, and teacher training often gives you skills in how to do those. But many of the good things I've done, the good teaching I've done, hasn't come from anyone telling me how to do it. It's come from me reflecting on what the child I am working with at the moment, or the student I am working with at the moment, needs, and responding to that need. And that's what good teachers do. And that's in the research as well. So, Ted, you talked about her passion from a religious point of view. I would also like to say that if you look at the great religions of the world and those leaders, the people who started them, Jesus, Muhammad, those people were great teachers. And all you have to do is look to the leaders and observe, watch what they did. They didn't just tell, so Bloom's taxonomy again, they didn't just tell things, they actually listened to their people. They modeled how to be. They didn't say, you've got to do this, but actually I'm going to go and do this. You've got to behave in this way, as perhaps many of our politicians and UK politicians as well do. They actually modeled how to be. So Jesus prayed. And we know, as if we want our Christians, prayer is really important. They waited. And I think teachers giving students and children waiting time is probably one of the greatest skills you can have. There has been research done which shows that teachers talk far too much of the time. The students don't talk enough. We don't let them. Who asks the questions in your classroom? Frequently, it's the teachers asking the questions. Surely it should be the learners asking the questions. So we don't give our students, our children, the chance to ask questions. Even if we do ask a really good question, an open-ended question, we don't even give them time to think. People need time to think about the answers, particularly if it's a hard question, a difficult one. We don't give them any time. But that's what, certainly I am a Christian myself, so I know that that's exactly what Jesus did. He waited. He let the Pharisees and the Sadducees answer their own questions frequently. He also allowed people to be. Muhammad, praise his name, he allowed people to be the people they were. He didn't tell them that they had to do things in a particular way. Yes, there's rules. We all know about the rules. But the great teachers also allowed for that free will. And if you like, those things really are important in my program. Now, I've got 5 slides that I would like to share, and I'm hoping that mine is going to work as well.